Okay, let's get more on this now with Sabah Al-Mukhtar in London. He's the president of the Arab Lawyers Association. Thank you so much for joining us. Firstly, what do you make of these demands from Muqtada Al Sadr that Parliament be dissolved and that elections be held earlier?
It's a populist demand, but it is nothing to do with the constitution, nothing to do with the legal process, nothing to do with the politics, if there is any politics in Iraq. He is applying pressure. The pressure was going into the street. Muqtada Al Sadr differs from other militias is that he controls a lot more people in the capital. And those who can control the street in the capital anywhere probably have a higher hand than other places. So he is applying the pressure, but I don't think constitutionally or legally, the court can dissolve parliament. The constitution sets out a process, which is either the parliament dissolves itself or the president, the prime minister, etc. And none of this is happening. So he's applying the pressure of the street to achieve what he is aiming at.
Yes, but it has been more than 9 months since Iraq had a functioning government since elections last October. Do you think perhaps maybe elections are the only solution to get a functioning government in place?
Quite honestly, this is the myth which was created by the occupation in 2003 by the Americans. The idea that somehow elections solve problems, that is not true. You need politics, you need institutions. Currently, at the moment in Iraq, the parliament is actually, it's a non-starter. It was elected by only 20% of the population, and Sadr won the majority, but then he ordered his MPs to resign. And this is not politics, and this is not legal process. Members of parliament are elected by the people, so they shouldn't be listening to their leader to tell them to resign. So when he ordered them to resign, and they resigned, the opposition took over the place. So we have an unlawful constitution, unlawful parliament, unlawful election, and even the current situation. Of course, it needs a solution, but the solution at the present moment is only being applied by Muqtada Al Sadr in a populist demands. These demands he is making, it has resonance with all the Iraqis, except that he is leading the Shiite population, and the Sunnis, having been sidelines, having been killed, etc., in their peaceful demonstrations in the past, they're saying, okay, fine, we will wait and see what they are going to do. So it's now Shiite against Shiites. The Sunnis, which is assumingly about half the population, less, more, it doesn't matter, they are sitting on the side because the situation now cannot get worse. The only thing that could happen if violence breaks out between the various Shia's militias, that's the militias who support Muqtada Al Sadr against the militias who support other Shiite militias, Qais al-Khazali, al-Maliki, and all those people. So I think this situation is a stalemate. It's not changing. The proposal he's making, he is saying what is wrong, but he's not putting the solutions because he does not have the solution to the problems at the present moment.
Yes, we know that Muqtada's supporters stormed the parliament late last month on the eve of what was expected to be the election of a new prime minister, one that was backed by Iranian powers. Why was Muqtada Al Sadr in opposition to that development?
Well, Muqtada Al Sadr, because he won the election, he wanted to form the government. The other Shiite militias, they stopped him from forming the government. So a solution he produced is that he asked his members, his followers, to resign. So there was a vacuum which was filled by the second line of nominees for the parliament, i.e. the other Shiite groups. They took over. Now he is determined they will not form the government, because if he was prevented from forming the government, he is not going to allow the other side to form the government. So this stalemate is on this politicking side. But at the same time, we have to understand, in order to elect a new prime minister, first of all, the parliament has to elect a president. And the problem we have at the present moment in Iraq is that the two Kurdish factions, Talabani and Barzani, cannot agree on a nominee to be the president, because the constitution, which was coined by the Americans. It's a sectarian one. The president has to be a Kurd, the prime minister has to be a Shiite, and the parliament speaker has to be a Sunni, which is a load of rubbish. There is no other country except the stupidity which is in Lebanon. And that's why Lebanon is also the same problem. So the solution lies with the constitution. It lies with the institutions. The parliament is not representative of anybody. The government has no power. The prime minister is totally inefficient. He cannot control the army. He cannot control the government. He cannot control the parliament. So we have this situation.
Okay, Sabah Al-Mukhtar, we'll have to leave it there, but it's really good to get your analysis on the program as always. Thank you.